We live in a culture that constantly victimizes us. Why mindset, not the perfect diet, is going to give you so much insight as to why you are still stuck or spinning your wheels. Your internal commands. What are your thoughts that come up before you're about to eat? Today I'm going to be talking about why mindset, not the perfect diet, is the key to you finally transforming your health and your weight for life. And so I'm going to be covering 5 pillars of mindset that are absolutely required for a true transformation. So the first pillar I want to talk about is the I am statement. A powerful statement you can possibly make, and finish that with whatever it is you believe about your health, your body, your weight is going to give you so much insight as to why you are still stuck or spinning your wheels. Because whatever we identify with under that I am statement is exactly what we will recreate with our habits, our behaviors, our beliefs, which ultimately affect our biology. The second pillar I want to talk about is awareness before action. So you start going throughout your day and paying attention to your internal commands. What are your thoughts that come up before you're about to eat? This is really, really important because we can't change anything without awareness. Also, why people who track food or log food or keep a food journal tend to be significantly more successful than people who don't, because it is the ultimate awareness tool. From working with clients for over 20 years, that 90% of people fail at doing this, and it comes back to that awareness piece. Now, there's of course an argument about whether tracking is healthy or unhealthy, but from my experience, it's not the tracking that's unhealthy or unhealthy. It's the mindset behind the tracking and how the tracking is approached that creates whether or not it's a good tool to use. In my experience, the clients who have embraced it, utilized it, and then we move to what I call intuitive, intentional eating, which is actually possible once you've been tracking and understand your body, food, etc. It is the most incredible tool for lasting transformation. We live in a culture that constantly victimizes us and has us believe that something is wrong with us. We need this pill, we need this protocol, we need this supplement. Now, what I want to go into here is really thinking about how we can move into a place of, again, agency and ownership with our process. The fourth is label shape biology. I'm going to give you a really cool example of this because Ellen Langer from Harvard did a really interesting study where she took the same participants, and on one day she gave them a milkshake that was labeled rich, delicious, indulgent, etc. And the next day, even though it was the exact same milkshake, they gave the participants, they masked it so they couldn't tell it was diet shakes. They thought it was different. It wasn't actually different, but their perception of it was different. And what they did was they measured their metabolism, their appetite hormones, their leptin and their ghrelin after consuming the shake. And what they found was when the participants believed the shake they were consuming was delicious, rich, and indulgent, their metabolism was 20% higher, their hunger hormone ghrelin was significantly lower, and their leptin, which is your satiety hormone, was significantly higher. So I want you to really think about this. When you're consuming food, directly impacts your physiology. If you're eating and you're stressed or you have anxiety or you have fear, you have an increase in cortisol, you have a decrease in satisfaction, and you change the whole metabolism. Whereas when you sit down to consume something and you're coming from a place of love, connection, and gratitude, you completely shift how your body responds to that meal. I mean, that's agency. That's really empowering. And what works for your friend may not work for you. So the key in finding out what works for each of us, it also means experimenting with different types of food combinations. You know, having a healthy weight for life and maintaining your ideal body weight, it always comes back to the basics. Then the macro ratios are not significantly, once protein is taken care of, they don't significantly impact eating more fat and a lower carbohydrate diet. But the only way to figure that out is to experiment. Your body pays pay attention to your psychology, your energy, your mood, your performance, your sleep, your appetite, all of these aspects that go into us finding our ideal way to eat and thrive for life. These are the 5 mindset foundations, really creating a true transformation for life. What resonates with me, and this takes a lot of courage, but the beautiful thing is what comes out of that, you never struggle again with food. I have to tell you this story. I just want to cry because I went out to lunch with one of my local clients and she is down 50 pounds. And I remember when we first started, she was an emotional eater and she was addicted to ultra processed foods, etc. And now we're sitting in a restaurant 50 pounds later and she's like telling me about not even looking for food when she's bored. She can have one bite of a cookie. It doesn't drive her to eat more. How tracking, even though at first it wasn't the right approach, it taught her so much, and now she is actually intuitively transitioned to not tracking, and we're still losing a pound a week. Really take the time to lay that foundation. This is a beautiful process of transformation because your health, your weight, your food is not just in this one little box. It is reflective of every aspect of your life. So I hope this video was helpful. I just want you to know that transformation does not come from willpower. It comes from identity, awareness, and curiosity and courage to be the fullest expression of yourself and have the patience to let go of that timeline and truly step into a relationship with your body as a foundation, self-care, self-compassion, and agency.